Hello. They say a stitch in time saves nine. I'm going to elaborate my father's experience getting out of an enlarged benign prostate gland over the last 1 month odd. My dad was on a 2 week Europe trip from May 1st to May 15th, 2026, and on the last day, which is May 15th, around 6 p.m. Italy time, he got this feeling that he couldn't pass even a drop of urine, which was actually grade 4 prostate enlargement. Okay, he has a history of prostate enlargement, so it made sense that he couldn't pass urine. So the next 16 hours before he boarded the flight to India was extremely stressful and scary. uh, okay, by this time he had not chosen to access emergency care in Italy, fearing that his departure could get delayed or postponed by a day or two. They declined to access his travel insurance policy, but decided to endure the pain over the next 40 odd hours before he reached Bengaluru International Airport. So 17th of May, around 11 a.m., I saw my dad after nearly 40 hours. And within the next 2 hours, I mean, by the time I saw him at 11 a.m., I took him to the emergency care in a hospital by 11:30 a.m. And luckily, on that Sunday, we had a urologist and a duty doctor available in that hospital. I am not going to take any names of hospitals here. I'm thankful to any help we got during this period. And he was immediately catheterized, and nearly 1100 ml of urine was removed from his bladder, and this gave instant relief to him, and he almost started sleeping while the urine was draining into the bag itself. So finally, on 20th of May, we came back to our hometown, that is Coimbatore, and the subsequent day, which is 21st, we went to a urology specialty hospital in Coimbatore, and we consulted a senior doctor come surgeon to discuss about removing the catheter, because we believed that his urine passage would become normal in a couple of days. So, with that understanding, we approached the doctor. So, the doctor suggested my dad to keep the catheter on for another 4 days and come back on the 25th of May, which was supposed to be a Monday. After the 4 days, much to our disappointment, my dad could not pass even a single drop of urine naturally after the catheter was taken off. So the observation called TWOC, time without a catheter, literally failed. So what the doctor suggested was to recatheterize him, which means to put him back on a catheter, and he explained about the simple procedure or surgery called bipolar TURP, which is basically to shave off the enlarged benign prostate gland. At the time, we understood that we were not left with much options before us apart from going ahead for the surgery. Okay, we were given a date, the 3rd of June, for the surgery, which is pretty much 1 week or 8 days after that date. And we were asked to report in the hospital 24 hours prior to that for a blood work, X-ray, and an opinion from a cardiologist. Luckily, all were good for us to proceed with the surgery. On the same evening, 2nd of June, I took my dad and admitted him in the hospital for the surgery that was scheduled on the next day. The surgery was scheduled for 10 a.m. on Monday, 10 a.m. on the 3rd of June, which is a Wednesday. And there was some lack of instructions from the hospital and doctor. And by mistake, my father consumed the morning breakfast, which in hindsight seems to be a blunder. So, in all cases, the patient is supposed to have an empty stomach before going into the operation theater. So, what happened is around 9 a.m., the surgeon informed us that the surgery had to be aborted, and they discharged us from the hospital and sent us back home. So, the instruction was to come back to the hospital after 4 days. So, we came back to the hospital on the 7th of June for the schedule for the surgery to be rescheduled on the 8th of June. So this time the surgeon visited my dad in the evening itself and made sure that nothing was taken for granted, and he gave very clear instructions regarding the fasting to be done from midnight till the time he was to be taken into the OT. By 9:30 a.m., my father was taken into the OT, and by this time he had completed nearly 13 hours of fasting from the previous night's dinner, and also the one round of enema was given. So his gut was clear. So the first 20-30 minutes were spent in applying anesthesia, and the surgeon took approximately 1 hour and odd to complete the bipolar TURP. By around 11:30 a.m., the surgeon informed me that the surgery was a success and he had shaved off more than 90% of the enlarged prostate gland, which means that it was a very positive news. He did not have to go back into the OT for a second sitting of prostate surgery. My dad was resting in the operation theater itself for over an hour, and by 1:15 p.m., he was brought to the room by the team of doctor and nurses. For the first 5 or 10 minutes, we saw that his blood pressure was fluctuating because of whatever the anesthesia and the surgery, the post effects. So the surgeon made sure that he got stabilized within the next 30 minutes. And after he got stabilized, they put him on saline water drips and saline water irrigation. Saline water irrigation is basically sodium chloride water going into the bladder and coming out, and making sure that there is no infection happening in the place where the gland was shaved off. The next day morning, around 7 a.m., the saline water irrigation was removed, and this was a very tough period of 16-17 hours, because my father could not move left or right during his sleep. So basically, it is not just 34 hours without food, but also 17 hours without even a minute of proper sleep. He might have dozed off here or there, but it is pretty much normal for us to turn left or right while sleeping. But so he was denied that basic freedom to roll over his bed while sleeping, because you have a saline water tube going into your bladder. It's extremely difficult to turn over. So by now he had spent 34 hours without any solid food, and which means he was naturally extremely tired. And by 7 a.m., once they removed the saline water irrigation, he was able to go to the restroom, brush his teeth, and get ready for the breakfast to be served. Over the next 24 hours, I saw him struggling in pain due to the occasional bleeding while he was wearing the catheter. So still, it was fingers crossed for me. I wasn't sure if the surgery was a good success or not. The third day morning, the surgeon visited my father and approved the catheter to be removed, which is called as decatheterization. And within the next 1 hour, he was without the catheter. I mean, he was feeling like out of jail after 1 month. His urine volume by was to be observed from now for the next 24 hours. His urine volume slowly improved from 25 ml to 50 ml, all the way up to 200 ml per visit to the bathroom, and also the frequency improved from say 15 minutes per visit all the way to 2 hours per visit by midnight, which seemed like excellent progress as per textbook. The fourth day morning, my dad woke up very cheerfully with very less pain, and he was able to pass urine like the old good days without any pain or stress, or without much pain or stress. Let's put it that way. With a proper velocity, and and the surgeon and doctor approved his discharge from the hospital within the next 1 hour, and the discharge formalities were completed by noon after lunch. So today when I record this video, my father has completed 13 days after discharge, or 15 days after the surgery, and he's feeling extremely relaxed, extremely comfortable after the surgery. There is no pain. The bleeding has almost stopped from the from the from the shaved prostate, and his quality of life seems to have improved tons and tons, leaps and bounds ever since. I'm extremely thankful to the medical team, including the doctor cum surgeon and everyone else who supported me through this phase. It was a bit stressful, to be handling my parent alone, all the way from 17th of May till I would say, what was the date? Till 11th of June, because everything had to be taken care until then. And I'm extremely thankful to God for taking me through this journey, for taking us through this stressful journey. So I would summarize by saying that if you have somebody, a senior person in your family, a male above the age of 50, 55, and you suspect that you might have an enlarged prostate, kindly consult a doctor for better advice. Having a simple surgery done well ahead in your life is not a bad thing at all. Your quality of life will improve, and there is no, you don't have to convince yourself saying that surgery is a bad thing. Some surgeries are actually good. It's actually the advancement of science that we have to embrace. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert in science. You do not have to take my advice for granted. You please do your due diligence, but I just thought of sharing my experience with my friends and followers. And if this does help any of you, I'm extremely thankful. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good day.